Jason Wells with Anti-Suit Entrepreneur. And talking about living life on your terms, one of the most common things that we hear from people is, I don't know where to start to become an entrepreneur. And I can understand that. There's so much information out there on starting your own business, doing your own thing, becoming an entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is to you that is living life on your terms. We often see so many things, and one of the most common things I hear from people is, I just don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. And I think there's a lot of fears, a lot of unknowns, and a lot of things that hold people back in this area. So I think a lot of people talk about living life on their terms, and they never take action. And I'm sure a lot of those people are just lazy. But there are other people out there that I think really want to do something, but they really don't know where to start. So where do you start? Well, it might sound self-serving, but buy the book. That's why we wrote the book. Is Chris and I over the years had so many people ask us, how did you get started? What did you do? What are the things you learned? And seriously, you can't sit down in one dinner conversation and try to explain the last 10 years. And Chris and I got, I don't want to say we got tired of it, but when you repeat yourself over and over and over again, you begin to see that, well, if we're saying the same things over again, people must want to hear this, so maybe we should write about it. And that's why we wrote the book. And so the book is a good foundation because it shares everything that we did. It details what we learned, what we wish we would have known, and some of the things that you should avoid that had we known better, we would have avoided. And so it always amazes me, people want something like living life on their terms, and they've got a book like this in front of them, and maybe they look at it for a while and they don't buy it. And, part of that's because there's a lot of books out there that people have bought that are absolutely useless. I understand that. I've read them myself. They're not real specific. And then, maybe you're just somebody that's wishing this and you'll never do it, which, fine. I get that. But for those of you out there that are wanting to do something, get the book, because we really do try to give as many specifics as we can. Obviously, in a 300-page book, again, it's hard to detail the last 10 years, but we really give people some direction. So the first thing is, read the whole book. But if you're in that mindset right now, where you're like, I want to know something right now, and you've got the book, you might want to skip ahead, and you might want to figure out a few things so you can deal with how you feel. So you get it, you read it, you apply it. And one of the first things you can apply is chapter 6, and actually chapter 2 as well. And 2 talks about money-making skills and the 2 biggest money-making skills, so you can begin to work on those. Chapter 6 talks about the type of mentors there are, so you can figure out a lot more about that, because a lot of people say get a mentor, and that makes a lot of sense. You want to work with somebody that's already done it before, but no one really gives you any direction on that. I know we didn't have any direction years and years ago when we got our start. So understanding the types of mentors there are and what options are available to you is a big step in the right direction. And so if you want to skip ahead and read chapter 2 and chapter 6, you can, as far as those sections. But you should go back and return and read the whole book. That's definitely something that you don't want to skip over. And I think the other thing that I think you need is the big picture on the book. And so, if you click on buy book and then order the book, you'll see this page. So go out and get the book if you haven't gotten it. And one of the things that I find is people, sometimes if they don't have the big picture, sometimes a book, sometimes all the things that we do, it just doesn't connect with them. And so part of the reason that happens is I think sometimes a lot of people, they don't know where they're going and they don't have the big picture. It's just kind of, everything gets kind of convoluted for them. And so one of the things that I recommend is you watch this 3 steps. So you go to the website, antisuitentrepreneur.com, and you click on 3 steps. And if you're watching the YouTube video right now, you can see that I highlighted the website. And one of the things that these videos do is it kind of highlights the important parts of the book as far as the areas you want to focus on. I mean, obviously everything in the book is important, but there are specific parts in the book that are really conducive to getting started, which is, if you're like, I don't know where to start, that's something that you can do. So I'm trying to give you a bit of a roadmap here. Then you need to make your anti-list, and if you don't know what your anti-list, read the last few pages of chapter 1 to refresh what the anti-list is. And definitely do that, because that's going to give you a lot of direction. And, you know, do yourself a favor. Get connected with a community of people who are thinking like you. And so, you know, a lot of people don't even know where to start with that. And so you're welcome to go to antisuitentrepreneur.com. For those of you watching the YouTube video, you can see I've highlighted what link on the site. It's the contact link. So antisuitentrepreneur.com, and then click contact and fill out the form, and somebody from our office will get in touch with you and get you connected to the community. And that's one of the important things that I think people miss out on. So you've got that contact link, you've got that 3 steps. So that's going to help you a lot on getting the big picture, getting connected with somebody. You'll have your anti-list, which is really what you don't want in life. And so read the last few pages of chapter 1 to get an idea as to how to do that. And you'll have a better understanding of mentorship and what style is going to fit for you. And then understanding what money-making skills from chapter 2 you need to learn. And then you'll continue to read the rest of the book. And that's going to give you a big picture in everything we've learned over the years. The biggest thing I want you to take away is, I hope you understand the best action to take when you don't know where to start on anything. This is not even just entrepreneurship, is taking some action. And I can't promise you that taking all of the action I'm telling you here is going to take you to where you want to go, but I definitely can promise you that it's going to take you in the right direction. You need to take some steps forward, because when you take some steps, you never know where those steps are going to take you or where they're going to lead you. But if you never take a step, you're never going to have that opportunity to be connected to other things that you may never foresee. And that's a lot of how things happen for Chris and I. Over the years, we took steps in kind of an unknown direction, but we knew that, well, we need to know more about this particular area, or we need to learn at least these skills. And if we can learn these skills from this business project, you know, if we break even, maybe if we lose a little money, it's not really a loss of time and money, because we're learning these things. And what is that worth? And so you need to take a step forward, and that's why I'm trying to give you some direction with all the tools you have available to you. So you've got the book that you can go buy, which is minute in expense for the information that's in it. You've got the website, a way to connect with people in the anti-suit community. You've got the 3 steps videos and being able to watch that and get a big picture. And then obviously the homework at the end of each chapter is huge. You know, never ceases to amaze me how people really want something and they get 90% there and they don't do the extra 10% that matters the most. What do I mean? Well, you buy the book, you read the book, you see that there's homework in the chapter, and you skip over it thinking, oh, it's not that important, I'll get back to it later, and you never get back to it. And the stupid thing about that is you're 90% there. You just read the whole chapter to understand what the homework is going to be about. So the homework is really where the nuts and bolts of applying what you read about, and then you don't even apply what you learned. Notice what our thing is, not just to buy our book. You know, get it, read it, apply it. Well, if you don't apply it, then our book's not going to be that meaningful to you. You might read a lot and learn a lot, but if you don't go out and apply it, you're not going to get anywhere. So, the theme here at the end of this video, and for people listening to the podcast, is, hey, you got to take a step forward and you got to take action. And part of that is taking full action. An example of full action would be getting the book and completing the homework at the end of the chapters. So please do that. Don't gloss over them. Anyways, have a great rest of the week. And next week, I'm sure Chris will have a great subject for you guys.